Silver and gold are experiencing unbelievable developments right before our very eyes. We're going to talk about the reasons and a lot of examples why we can remain optimistic. This morning, we've had some volatility. The GDP numbers came out, if you believe those, right? Supposedly, then that lowered expectations for rate cuts. Guys, it's all a big mirage. We're going to talk about why later in this video. It's funny because I'd already had the plan to talk about this idea that gold and silver are up because of anticipation of rate cuts. You'll understand it after we talk about it. But first, let's go take a look at this just to reiterate that there is a scramble, right? A scramble for gold and silver all around the planet. This just popped up right before we came on. This comes from Bullion Star. They are a major silver and gold bullion dealer in Singapore, one of the biggest, one of the best, and they put this out this morning. There's a line around the block at Bullion Star as gold hits record highs, silver as well, as you know. But look at this picture that they posted just a few short hours ago. That's what's happening around the world. And remember how important it is for us, right, to keep in mind that gold and silver are a worldwide market. It's not just the United States. Actually, the world is taking over when it comes to silver and gold, and that's a very good sign when we're seeing lines like that. Next, let's talk about something from Marin Katusa that can give us a real optimistic feeling about what to expect for the silver market in the coming months. Before we do that, most importantly, thank you for joining me down here in the basement. You're a basement dweller when you're down here with me. You're welcome here. We love to talk about silver and gold. Please subscribe to the channel. It's free. We don't charge for anything here. Give the video a thumbs up, that thumbs up thing. Share it with your friends and leave a comment in the comment section. But let's see, Marin Katusa is somebody that I've always had massive amounts of respect for in the precious metal sector. And he pointed this out real simple, but real powerful yesterday. He said, we are now entering the strongest months of returns historically for silver. So what this chart shows us is silver seasonality, average monthly returns since 2000. So for the last 25 years. And as you can see on this chart, we are heading into this period. There's January through May. And as you can see on the chart, we are all green, okay? All green on average during those months. Jesse Colombo, probably one of the sharpest and most followed minds, analyst within the gold and silver sector, has something big to say about gold, right? And there's a reason why we want to pay attention to gold. Gold's the grandpa, right? Gold is the grand poobah of all the precious metals, and silver will follow. And we know there could be a slingshot move in silver as the gold to silver ratio compresses. But he's talking about now basically all clear for $5,000 gold. Yeah. We know. Don't worry. We're going to go look here and get an update on the gold and silver price in just 1 second. The GDP numbers threw a small little wrench into things. But last I checked, we were still green. Again, we'll go check. But let's see why Jesse says we're all clear for $5,000 gold, and that will have a big impact on the silver price. He says this, okay, gold's big breakout is here. Gold's breakout above the key 4,400 resistance level on Monday set the stage for a surge to 5,000 and beyond, possibly within a month or so. Okay, basically all the stuff I've highlighted for you in color, I'm going to show you on a chart here next. Basically says that the gold price broke out of a triangle pattern first and then broke out of a horizontal resistance level. He says, here, let's just go to the last paragraph. This was yesterday. Today's 2.5% surge in gold pushed it decisively above the 4,400 resistance level, okay, closing at an all-time high of $4,480 on COMEX. This is a strong bullish development and exactly what I've been anticipating and discussing in my recent updates. I believe this breakout now sets the stage for the next rally towards approximately $5,200. Again, this is the bubble report, which is a Substack that you can subscribe to. Super successful. probably the one of the most respected names right now in the precious metals sector. And I'm going to show you what he talked about in his article there. Okay. Talked about this. We had a triangle pattern that started back in October. Well, at least this is how I see it. Hold on. Let me fix that for you. Up, 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 up. There we go. Okay. So we had a triangle pattern starting back in October that went like this. Okay. Remember, or a wedge pattern, triangle pattern. Eventually, if there's a pattern like that, a wedge, the price is going to break out one way or the other. As you can see right here, that happened with gold, right around the end of November. Okay, the second big key, as I understand it, that he's talking about is that we also broke out of this horizontal resistance level and now are really in the clear. And actually, hold on here. It was a little bit higher than that because this is probably the daily closing prices that we've recently broke out of that. And from there, right, what he's saying is $5,000 gold or higher, which is awesome. Now let's switch over to silver and let's talk about we'll call him one of the wise veterans of the silver world, talking about triple digit silver. This is going to come out later today on Jesse Day's Commodity Culture, but there's a little clip where Bob Moriarty talks about, guys, how crazy things are, how different things are right now in the silver market in particular. Let's pull this up and listen to what he has to say. And there's Bob, but let's make sure there's Jesse Day. He runs the Commodity Culture YouTube channel. He says silver could be very close to $150. I don't think this is an ordinary market. I think this market is literally out of control. Let's listen to what Bob has to say. It's just 56 seconds long, and it's packed with exciting information.
At 53 to 1, silver could be $83 an ounce. And at 30 to 1, silver could be very close to $150.
$150.
I don't think this is an ordinary market. I think that the market is literally out of control. It is not controlled by COMEX. It's not controlled by Chicago or London. It's controlled by Shanghai and central banks. But the moves in gold, silver, platinum, I think are actually very dangerous. And Frank Euster made an interesting comment recently and said, you don't really want to live in a world of $10,000 gold. And I say because it implies $40 a gallon gasoline at 53 to 1.
Okay, guys. So we have that. And on top of that, a story getting a ton of news right now is basically that silver has called the COMEX bluff. Bob just talked about it, but there's even more evidence, right, that we are in new territory, a new day, a new paradigm for the silver, and we know gold as well. But let's dig into what's going on, why people are saying that the COMEX, right? First, the Fed kind of lost some control. Now that the COMEX, Fed lost control over monetary policy in gold and silver. But now that the COMEX is possibly losing control completely over the silver price, let's head out here and see what our friend Silver Trade had to say. This is critical, and this is getting a lot of attention. There's a reason why we want to pay attention to this, but also a warning that I want to give you. Said on December 12th, so what, just 11 days ago, the COMEX hiked silver margin rates 10% in a desperate attempt to halt the rally in the silver price. When the hit occurred, we stated it was likely silver would see a short-term sell-off as speculators were forcibly flushed out of the futures market, but shortly after, physical accumulation would send silver prices higher. 10 days later, silver prices have rallied over 11% from the COMEX margin hike hit, touching a high of $69.51. So this is a long-standing trick that they use at the COMEX to manipulate down the silver price when things get very tricky. They'll raise the margin rates, okay? It didn't work this time. Now, a couple things, key things we want to talk about with this. All right, they may have more tricks up their sleeve. Okay, they can do things like limiting position sizes and other things along those lines. But at the end of the day, I think everyone now is beginning to realize that the physical market is taking over. Okay, this is a big, big deal. Right, we are in kind of a battle right now between the paper market and the physical, like a turning point of a fork in the road where we're seeing the actual physical demand for the metal overtake. It's happening in London. It's happening in New York. It's happening in the United States. It's happening in China, right? It's happening all over the world, Russia, where physical demand eventually overtakes the paper price. Again, be forewarned, and they may have some other tricks that we don't even know about yet in an attempt to keep the silver price down. But at the end of the day, I'm confident. Remember that game, Rock, Paper, Scissors? Okay. And in Rock, Paper, Scissors, paper beats rock, right? Paper covers rock. Well, now we have the opposite at this point. Rock, right? The silver, the real, is beating paper. So hold on. It's going to be wild. Let's go out and do a price update and check on backwardation. We'd gotten into a state of backwardation lately in the markets. And, did I forget? Oh, man, I forgot to show. There's that last COMEX thing. Sorry about that, guys. All right, here we go. I'll share the right screen now. Sorry about that. Here is an update on the gold and silver price. I'm going to do a refresh. Let's see where we are. Okay. Oh, come on, gold. Come on. Don't be red. Oh, wow. Okay. So look at that. Gold back up $16 per ounce. Silver in the futures market. Boy, they can't even push down the silver price with GDP numbers, which are very, very, let's look at a one-day chart and see what happened here. Okay. Wow. Look at this, guys. This is a one-day chart of silver. As you can see, those GDP numbers came out, which were supposedly good. We went way down, but we are coming back up. Now, what we want to pay attention to is the price in the futures market, which is, let's say, $69.85 compared to the spot market. Okay, we are in a state of backwardation. The spot price now it's $70. We're unbelievable. We're at $70 silver in the spot market, and the spot market is now higher than the futures market. That is backwardation. That is very unusual. That signals that there is concern about the potentially for silver to be delivered on those futures contracts, which are out into March that we just looked at earlier. Mainstream media is joining us. Man, we got a lot to cover today. Hold on here. All right. Just want to pull this up quickly and then talk about why what mainstream media is saying about silver is wrong and why we can be super optimistic about how this will play out. But here's an article from Yahoo Finance. Why is silver outperforming gold? What to know before you invest. All right, they talk about the gold to silver ratio. They talk about expectations. Remember this is the big key there. Everybody's now is talking about it. And we're going to see what Bloomberg says next. Expectations of rate cuts in the future. So let's go straight to Bloomberg and see this headline from Bloomberg. Gold and silver hit all-time highs as geopolitical tensions rise. Okay, now this is short. We'll read it. Gold and silver soared as escalating geopolitical tensions and bets on further U.S. rate cuts. But we're going to look at something here that shows that that's not really the case, and that when it actually does happen, it could be yet another tailwind for the price of silver and gold. And bets on further U.S. rate cuts added momentum to the best annual performance in more than 4 decades. Bullion climbed as much as 2.4%, surpassing the previous record for gold of 43.81, while silver rallied as much as 3.4%, closing in on $70 an ounce. And as we just looked at, that's the case. So they're telling us, let me tell you the reason why this is so important. They're trying to feed the normal people out there who we like to affectionately refer to as, there's a sheeple warning, the sheeple, the herd, right? right? That, hey, the reason gold and silver are going crazy is because everybody thinks interest rates are going to go down. Well, really, let's go look at the Fed Watch tool and see what expectations are for interest rates from the Fed next month. But also, we'll go all the way out to October of 2026, and we're going to see, I think, that that's not actually the case. Right here, hold on, let me make this a little more, there we go, get you on the right screen, number one. Number two, make this a little smaller so you can see it better. Here we go. Okay, this is from the Fed Watch tool. You can go here yourself, CME Group, Fed Watch. The next Fed interest rate decision will be in 36 days. It'll be, as you can see on this chart, here we go. It will be on the 28th of January that I've underlined in red there. The current rate that the Fed has is 3.5 to 3.75. Guys, there is a 85% chance that rates are going to remain the same down here, 3.5 to 3.75. So this idea that gold and silver are going up because of imminent interest rate cuts is a bunch of bunk, but it gets even more interesting when you go up here, these gray tabs you can see at the top. I'm going to go to October of 2026. All right, here we go. Let me pull out the crayons for you. There we go. October 28th of 2026. Again, the current rate, 3.5 to 3.75. Basically, okay, if we draw a line here, right, here's a 0.25% cut. Okay, there's a 30% chance that rates are only going to be a 0.25% lower. Everybody's all crazy about what Trump is saying, that, oh, I'm going to lower rates to 1%. These are the actual big money odds. This is what the futures market is telling us of what to expect in October of 2026. And right now, right, they're saying, oh, here, there's a 33% chance that rates will be only a 0.5% lower, and only a 20% chance that rates will be what? 3/4, 75 basis points lower. So think about that. If we actually do get, if those charts actually do change, we have not. I don't believe Bloomberg. I don't believe Yahoo Finance. I don't think the gold and silver are up, because if people were thinking the big money would have the odds of the rate cuts being more severe, of having lower rates next month in January or October of 2026, much, much lower. If we even get close to what Trump is talking about, 1% rates, that's what Donald Trump is saying. He wants interest rates at 1%. I mean, guys, this idea of $10,000 gold, $200 silver is in our sights. I guess that's the best way to say it. Okay. Is there a shortage of silver out there? There's a bunch of stuff going around. I'm going to show you. These are from a day ago, but still, I think, pertinent for us to look at. And it has to do with kilo bars of silver and people claiming that they're sold out. Silver Trade put this out. And I think at the time this was true. Top precious metal dealer, JM Bullion, sold out of all kilo silver bars. Now, again, this was on December 21st. Then there's another one. Okay, JM Bullion was sold out. Now that at this point, and this was on, looks like the 21st as well, that there was a shortage, or an apparent, developing shortage in kilo silver bars. Couple key things for us to remember about this. I went out and looked before I came live. It looks like there's still a lot of kilo bars available, although I'm not taking away from what they posted. I believe what they posted was accurate at the time. But I think what's critical, the reason why we want to pay attention to this, is because think about it. In the United States, us Americans, we buy 10-ounce bars, 100-ounce bars. We buy everything in ounces. The kilo bars are more popular on a worldwide basis. And again, it's so important for us to realize, right? I know I live in St. Louis. Americans think America's like it, right? No, the whole world is involved in the silver and gold market. And on top of that, the other thing, I'd be interested to hear what you think about this, but I know that the kilo bars are also a lot easier to melt down. I've heard that from people I've talked to. Like the bigger bars, they like if they need to repurpose them into the big giant bars that go onto the COMEX and the LBMA. And that's what's happening right now in America. The refineries are backed up, right? Because they're melting down junk silver. They're melting down silver that some Americans, and we're getting different reports on that as well, are cashing in and then shipping that metal. So a lot of people speculate over to China and India that are like, yeah, we'll take it. Send it our way. We'll take your silver. Please, America, send us your silver. So we'll keep an eye on that. And the other thing to remember, not to throw water, because I can get a little overly exuberant too about, oh, silver shortages at your local coin shop. You're going to go in, and I've been through that. Have you been through that? I've gone into my local coin shop, in the display cases were empty several times in the last 10 years. Once during C19, and there was another period as well. But we got to remember something very important. Yeah, we want to keep an eye. We want to look at the lines of people outside the bullion star in Singapore, all that great stuff. But the reality is this, guys, the retail silver demand does have an impact on the silver price, but really it's not the main driver. The main driver are the big exchanges and the big physical demand coming through from industry and other sources as well. So let's go look. Can you believe this? Can you believe what's happening? Let's go take a look at what the price of silver closed at in China. Hold on here. Get the right screen up for you. There we go. This comes from, I'm going to give him credit, our friend, the Oriental Ghost, who puts this out every day. I will look at this other screen as well, which makes no sense to me, but unbelievable that yesterday, okay, just a few short hours ago, on the Shanghai Gold Exchange, which is China's spot market for silver, AG on the Shanghai Gold Exchange closed at $72.65. That is a physical market. Now, what's interesting about this, right, is this. That's higher than where we were and where we are in the United States. Let's go, hold on here real quick. Share this. There we go. Okay, so we're at $70.20 in the spot market in the United States, as you should be seeing on your screen. However, okay, of course, in China, it's a little bit higher, but guys, remember this. Was it about a year ago, a year and a half ago, even maybe 9 months ago? There were times I remember where the physical price for silver in China was 10-15% higher than what it was on the spot market in the United States. What that is telling us is what something very important, and that is that now China, right, the fact that the COMEX is catching up and getting closer and closer and closer to the Shanghai Gold Exchange, it's proof, in my opinion, and I know it's true, that the Chinese markets, right, the Eastern markets, are now having much more significant impact on the price of the metals. The LBMA, the LBMA and the COMEX are being forced more to follow the Chinese. The Chinese market was way out ahead, way higher at one point. Now, right, the COMEX and the LBMA are being forced to follow much more closely what's going on there. And it gets even more interesting because don't forget this, we've got something exciting coming our way in the world of silver. Make Gold Great Again points out something super interesting, and some of us may say, exciting. Chinese silver export controls start in 11 days. This was from yesterday. So yeah, now we can say, gosh, when was this from? Hold on. The 21st. Yeah. So it starts in less than 10 days. The world's largest manufacturer, China. The world's largest metals refiner, China. I didn't know that. The world's second biggest silver miner, China. The world's largest solar manufacturer, China. This is fine. Dumpster fire, right? Saying China saying No, sorry, West. We are not going to replenish your vaults at the LBMA. We aren't going to replenish your vaults at the COMEX. You are on your own. Remember something powerful. Okay. Hold on here. Having some tech issues. Make sure we're back. Are we back? Yeah. Did I say thank you for being here? And then we got something very powerful to talk about. Yeah, you. Okay. Seriously, you're the most important part of this. Without you being here, I wouldn't be in the basement doing these live streams. It's unbelievable. We got 1,000 people on with us right now. More and more people are coming into the precious metal sector. Welcome to the newcomers. Us veterans, be nice to the newcomers. Teach them about precious metals. All right, we got 200 likes. Okay, sounds great. Thank you. This is Upstairs Susie. For those of you who are new, that's my wife. She helps, and she loves to give you a high five. So high five. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. We don't ever charge for anything. Don't forget to please subscribe to the channel and support our sponsors like First Mint. They're producing world-class silver bullion products right here in the United States in Las Vegas, Nevada. Please check them out. They're owned by First Majestic Silver, right? So when you get silver from First Mint, it's from the mine to the mint to you. You can check them out at firstmint.com, and our sponsor, First Mining Gold, Canadian gold development stage company with 2 multi-million ounce projects, two massive projects. Gold projects, gold in the ground in Canada. You can check them out at firstmininggold.com. I'm going to ring the golden gong. We're going to say hi to some people. But before we do that, the most powerful thing going, okay, this is a big deal, right? Silver doesn't get any love until it really starts taking off. And we are still in the early stages of takeoff. That's just my opinion. Whether we're talking about stocks, silver, relationships, whatever. I'm not a marriage counselor. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't do anything based on what I say, but I believe we are still in really maybe, I don't know what you think, but it feels like to me, I'm going to say we're still in the second inning if it was a 9-inning baseball game. And as people start to catch on, not only in the world, but in the United States as well. And not only, hey, we got a super chat. Thank you. Old Dirty Bastard Garage. Good to see you, ODBG. But as people start, and not just people, but the overall investment community, right? I was talking with Roger, another very, very, very well-respected, smart person in the precious metal sector this morning. And we both pretty much agreed, right? The generalist investor still hasn't shown up to the precious metal sector, to the precious metal mining sector. And when they come into the precious metal mining sector, that's going to be good for the whole gold and silver ecosystem. And what's good for the gold and silver ecosystem is good for it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. But the big key takeaway here is silver hasn't really started to get the attention that it deserves. On a worldwide basis, it's a little better than the United States. But in the United States, I can tell you, right? My neighbors, my cohorts, I live in a upper middle class, area. I talk to people that are intelligent, right? Average intelligent Americans, if that's such a thing. And people still are not waking up to the fact that the dollar is printed out of paper, digital, whatever, and going down, and that gold and silver have been the place to be for years and years. As more and more of those people wake up, okay, look, it is. And again, I'll go back to what I said earlier. Retail investment isn't the major driver, but it is a driver. And it's going to be a situation where the average person, unfortunately, is going to have a very difficult time getting their hands on physical metal. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I think we're going to see in the next couple of years. I'm going to say hi to a few of you guys in 1 second. Let's ring the golden gong. We've got this is our good luck golden gong. For those of you who are new, you can hear it resonate just like the sound of higher gold and silver prices are going to resonate. Okay. And that's the golden gong. And here's the old silver bell. Yeah, new all-time highs in silver. Yeah, another day in paradise, right, guys? All right, I want to say hi to a few of you guys. Please, what I want you to do in the comment section is tell me where you're joining us from. I'm going to try to do my best to get out 5 or 10. Hello, Mark Guerrero and Old Dirty Bastard Garage. Merry Christmas. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Okay. There's Katie. Hey, there's C130. Hercules. Good to see you. Long time. Jess Studios, West Texas, Connecticut, Southern Manitoba, Arizona. Hello, Susie. Montana, Idaho, Silver back, Cleveland, Ohio. I love Cleveland, New Jersey. Wow, I can't even get Portland, Oregon, Suntan Valley, West Palm Beach, the Netherlands, Spokane, Washington, Silverton, Oregon, the UK, the United Kingdom. Silver, 600 inbound. I like that. Vermont, West Virginia, Tennessee, Germany. All right. Yeah, we are everywhere in the world. Western Kentucky. Man, guys, imagine that. Pennsylvania, New Plymouth, New Zealand. Susie and I went to New Zealand, loved it. Venice Beach, Sussex, England. Oh, man. California. You're making me lose my voice, guys. Venice Beach, Florida. Man, we are, the globe is lighting up. South Georgia, Grandview, Missouri. I'm in Missouri, the state of Missouri. California, Ireland, Bama, Alabama. We go to Orange Beach every year. Love Alabama. South Carolina, Slovenia. Wow, Germany. Wow, Texas, Lithuania, North Bend, Washington, Halifax, San Diego, Florida. I can't even think about trying to say all your names. Utah, Turkey, Minnesota. Man, Maritimes in Canada. North, this really warms my heart. I'm seeing the whole globe light up. Florida, England, Essex, England, Netherlands. I'm Dutch. You may not know that. My great grandpa, there were Boers, South Africa, gold, Boer War. Anyway, Virginia, Illinois. Merry Christmas. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the basement. Okay, I appreciate you. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday if I don't see you beforehand. Take care of yourself. All right. And it's going to be a wild, wild ride in precious metals. We're in it together. It's a big, big honor to have you here. Take care. And I'll see you. I'm talking to you. Okay. You're important. All right. You're the apple of your mama's eye. And I want to see you back here again in the basement. Bye-bye.